everyone. Welcome to At Home with Sally. I'm Sally Clarkson, and I have the biggest privilege in the world to be with so many friends from all over the world who join me every week to listen to my stories, inspiration, biblical encouragement, and I am just so glad that you're here today. Thanks so much for joining me. Hi, my friends. It's Sally Clarkson, and oh my goodness, holidays are upon us again. I can't even believe it. I am so excited because, God willing, I will get to be in the UK for Thanksgiving to begin the year. And when I live in Oxford, they don't have the same holiday for Thanksgiving as we do. Although I know that all of my wonderful friends in the UK are very thankful. But it's kind of going to be fun for me to be back with my grandkids and with my children. And it's kind of a document of God's faithfulness for me. So I am going to be extremely thankful that I've made it this far. I went to my doctor the other day and he said, well, it'll still be about 12 weeks and it's okay to still have pain. And it's all right for you to still be limping along. That's just fine. So, and he said, but go exercise every day and find a spa or a gym. So anyway, but, and I'm with some of my very dearest gifts in the world today. And this is my team of women who are stalwart, who are steadfast, who love the Lord, who really serve this ministry, not because of me, but because of their own call to God's kingdom and to God's using them to train women. And because we all believe together that what takes place in your home and even on holidays and even on every day of the year is the grounding, the foundational building of what will become the next generation of adults. So I want you to know today we're excited because we're going to share our Thanksgiving traditions with you. But most of all, when you have a lot of piles of dishes and recipes and someone says, I don't like squash, just know that it's a part of the warp and woof of life in a home, but you get to be the conductor of the beauty, of the love, of the memories. And these memories are going down deep, I can guarantee you. My kids always say, oh, I can't wait to come home and sit around the table and eat and have fun with everyone. So most important of all, whether you use paper plates and buy your Thanksgiving meal at the grocery store or some other fancy restaurant, whatever it is, just determine ahead of time to be thankful for this opportunity that you have for those precious people in front of you. I know that Thanksgivings can be really different. But today, the friends that I have with me, for those of you who are on my membership, Life with Sally, you know them as Jenny, Gretchen, Misty, and me. And so I just want to start out today saying that I am very thankful, very, very thankful for them because they are these kind of women, which I love, that are dependable, that they were already responsible for before I ever got to them, that's for sure. And that's what kind of women we want to be. We want to be those that we can count on in every situation, not because someone deserves it or asks us, but because that's what we want to do. So hi, you guys.
Hi.
I'd just say hi, you women. Hi, you all. Anyway. So I'm going to let you all start out today because I don't want to just take the center stage. I will tell about my Thanksgivings later, but why don't you all jump in and tell me who are you having for Thanksgiving this year, and what are some of your memories or feelings about coming into the season? We can all come in with various feelings into the Thanksgiving season. So tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Gretchen, and I am so thankful to just be a part of this ministry and be able to just to help share these messages with all of you. I am really looking forward to Thanksgiving. One, because it is one of those holidays that you just get to feast all day, and I love food. So that
I
is
think we all love food in this group, don't we?
We do. Amen.
really the focus is just getting to feast all day. So, and it's also a day that, we're just all home together. I have 5 children and they will all be home at Thanksgiving.
Isn't that wonderful? Yeah.
And I think the older they get, the more and more I appreciate it. I think you take it kind of for granted when they're little that this is, we're always going to be together. But once they start going off to college and you're like, oh, yay, they're going to be home. So it really.
You've spent 18 or 20 years shaping the friendship with them, and they have become your best friend.
Yes. So wonderful. So we start feasting in the morning and we continue through all night.
So what are some of your favorite, what do you begin feasting on? Why don't we all share what we begin feasting on in the morning?
Well, the funny thing, so one thing that we start with is kind of a simple thing, but it has become a tradition that must be there. Is I do pigs in a blanket. So it's like these little sausages wrapped in crescent rolls. So they're really easy.
Oh, how fun. I used to love those.
They're so fun. So as fast as I can get them out of the oven, the kids are eating them while they're watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And so when they were little, I always called them pigs in a blanket. Well, one of my boys, he was probably 2, and he said, Mommy, I can't wait for Thanksgiving because we're going to have those blanket pigs. And so ever since then, they are blanket pigs at our house. So we start with blanket pigs.
But you know what? When it's a tradition, it tastes even better. I mean, it's just something that you feel like, oh my goodness. Now, are we talking grocery store pigs?
Oh, we are talking. Because I have so many kids. So here is the way to be frugal with this. So I get the packaged crescent rolls, and I think they're like 8 in a pack. Well, I cut them in half.
Yes.
So I get 16 per pack. So, and then I use the little sausages. So,
oh, how fun!
Go farther.
I think feasting, you get to do and eat whatever you want.
Yes. So that's our simple, but they think they did think it was a delicacy. So,
well, how about you girls? What do you do for early in the morning?
Well, because Sally says so, we do cinnamon rolls, but from the store most of the time. I have made them myself, but I don't love being in the kitchen. And so, for some of you moms, if planning and executing Thanksgiving makes you stressed out and angry, and then you're unhappy all day, don't do it that way. Find each child's one favorite thing and get all that stuff from the store. Like Sally said, you don't have to make it all from scratch. And if that's going to be the sacrifice so that you can be a happy mom, then do that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So here's a funny tradition. Actually, before the morning, we have, a fall box with a little bit of decorations, and I'm not big on all the stuff, but we have a few like little crows and little squirrels and things like pumpkins, of course. But in that box, I also have some fall picture books, and I also have a couple of games that are related to fall. So there's a tree families identification game where it has the plant, the leaf when it's green, the leaf when it's falling off, and the fruit. And those games only come out with the fall box, usually the month of November. And then, Christmas is here, so it all goes away. And then the other thing I have in there is a nutcracker. It's wooden. It's so cute. It's shaped like a little mushroom. And I think it's made originally for like Montessori, where the little kids can do it themselves. Right. And you buy unshelled nuts, which are very difficult to find and very expensive. But if you buy one big bag, it'll last for like 5 years, because your kid will do 5 nuts and you'll say, okay, now you get to eat the nuts, and then they'll be done, right?
Yeah.
But the novelty factor of, this is fun, these are our fall things, has been really fun for our family.
I think anything that you repeat, one of my friends said at Christmas time, she said that they would go sing in the choir and then go have the greasiest hamburgers in the world. And she said, doesn't matter what you do. That's what we looked forward to, was greasy hamburgers. So anyway, keep going.
I love it.
Absolutely.
So how about you, Misty?
I have to laugh first at Jenny because you all, how nerdy are we that we would have? I mean, like, that does not surprise me at all that a tree identification game is a fun thing for Thanksgiving. And also,
I was sitting here going, really?
Will you please link that? Because that's so cool. I love it. I want to play it too. That sounds like so much fun. And
I think it sounds like fun for kids, doesn't it? For young kids, because I was thinking more of my adult kids right now.
Yeah.
And so, Jenny, you're going to have to tell the name of the game.
Yeah, I'll look it up and we'll put it in the podcast notes. We don't even actually always play the game. He, of course, my 5-year-old and the 15-year-old jumps in. They sort them by what's a leaf and what's a fruit. They try. He's like, oh, I know an acorn and that goes with an oak. So, mommy, which one is the oak tree? He knows a little bit to figure it out without being able to read or matching.
It makes it fun that you have this every year and that you do it and that you're smart enough to know about this game. I feel like, oh no, I missed out. I didn't do the game for my children.
Whoops, you're going to have to start over.
Oh, there we go. No, I think it's pretty cool too. And I was thinking that too, Jenny, Misty, that I'm looking at all three of these pictures going pop, pop, pop. That we get to do these incredible things and our children love them. People always say, do you really do those things? And I think, yeah, we do.
We really do.
Yeah. Okay, Misty, you go.
So for years, I have been making pumpkin chocolate chip muffins for Thanksgiving because they really do taste better the next day. And it's a pretty simple recipe. And I've been making it for years. And it feels like I have to make them on the first day of fall and for Thanksgiving morning. And lately I kind of make them more often anyway, because I just really like them. And then it's an excuse to eat chocolate chips for breakfast. Who doesn't want that? And so I will admit, though, that my 15-year-old, I keep saying she's 15 and she's 17, you all. I can't get over it.
You missed 2 years.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Somehow our brain missed 2 years.
Yeah, that's probably it or more. I'm not sure. But she just told me the other day, Mom, I don't really like those that much, but if I don't eat them on Thanksgiving, then it wouldn't seem like it was Thanksgiving.
Oh, how funny.
So anyway, it was just kind of funny. I'm not a huge pumpkin person. I don't like pumpkin pie. I know that's sacrilegious, but anyway, so these muffins I do like. So we'll have pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. And then we always watch the parade, right? And in our family, the game that we play is bingo. We always have Thanksgiving parade bingo where you have to mark when you see Mrs. Claus or mark when you see
fun.
See who gets to it first, who gets bingo first. Is that fun? And usually I'll have like a giant candy cane or a Hershey bar or, something as a prize for whoever does it first. So I am not allowed to not print out those game pieces
in the morning. How fun that everybody does such fun things. These are all I'm going to do them all this year. Well, I'm going to rush through because we've got so much more to do. But as everybody knows, we do watch the Macy's Day Parade. But the fun thing is Nathan is usually in New York at the Macy's Day Parade.
Not fair.
So we always try to see if he's there, and we're texting back and forth and saying, well, how big is the float? Really? Have you seen any movie stars? And, is it fun? And da-da-da-da. But we do my homemade cinnamon rolls. I am a big proponent for doing things ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And I do most of my Thanksgiving meal ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Even if some of it's the day before. About the only thing we don't do ahead of time is the turkey. And we do it on the day of. But we have our cinnamon rolls. We have our cheesy egg. And we put, at this point, because some of our people aren't meat eaters, we put turkey bacon crumbles into the cheesy eggs with sour cream and cinnamon rolls. And it's usually coffee by that point. And then we all sit in front of the television and watch Macy's Day Parade, which is really fun. And the funny thing is our kids all now like to watch the Broadway performances. When they were little, they were looking for the Snowman or Charlie Brown or whatever. So you do kind of grow through it over the years, and everybody is pajama clad. No one gets dressed. So anyway, I'm going to jump forward into meals and also traditions in that because of time. But we usually start out in November early. I like the box that you had, Jenny. We had a box of, or we would put out a basket or, I would display about 6 or 8 books on Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving Day, on all the things that happened, why it was created, how Abraham Lincoln designated it as the day of Thanksgiving. We always thought it was always forever, but it wasn't. And so we read like one book a day for several days before we hit Thanksgiving. But the reason I think it's so important is that, and it kind of goes along with our family day too in August, when we take time to really look back and see the fingerprints of God, it does cause him to be glorified in our homes, but also it lifts our hearts to practice being thankful. And so I'm going to go through our favorite food really quick, and then I'm going to tell you what we do at the table. Thanksgiving has always been a little bit hard for our family because we don't have a lot of family that come our way. It's usually just us. So we have always tried to invite strangers, people, single friends that don't have anybody. And that we always require, we say, if you can, bring a dish or bring something fun to share. But one of our favorite traditions, there's 2 things that we do that are different than probably other people. We do all the turkey, and we do peas and mashed potatoes and dressing, an old-fashioned cornbread dressing and turkey. But we also, Clay loves squash casserole, which is kind of a Southern dish. It's yellow squash, and it has onions and cheese and breadcrumbs and, too much butter that we don't eat the rest of the year. And it was originally a recipe at Black Eyed Pea. So if you want to just go online and look up the recipe from Black Eyed Pea, squash casserole, you can get it there or a million places. But he loves that, so I make that. And then another thing that we always have to have, we like the apple streusel pie. It's a little bit different than just apple pie and pumpkin pie. But we always do a pecan pie, because that was our tradition in Texas. And I didn't think my kids would all eventually like it, and all of them like it now. We fight over pecan pie and whipped cream. And of course, no matter what, homemade rolls have to be a part of it. So I do most of those ahead of time. Cinnamon rolls ahead of time, the homemade rolls ahead of time, the corn stuffing ahead of time. So that because I remember some disastrous days when I left it all until Thanksgiving Day. And then the tradition that we all have had for many years is we give everybody several pieces of corn, dried corn. You can scrape it off of the corn that you can get as the decorations at the grocery store. And we go around the table, and everybody puts a piece of corn in the basket for what they're thankful for, or piece, or 4 or 5. And then by the end of everybody putting corn in, it's a whole basket full of thanks to God. And we all feel so much more aware of his kindness to us. So that's, in a short nutshell, that's the Clarksons, some of what we do. And so we have lots of fun. And of course, we eat all day too. We don't eat our main meal until 2 or 3 o'clock, and then we eat leftovers at night and watch some kind of. So, how about you all?
Well, we one of the things that I make that is kind of a from scratch thing is I make egg noodles.
Oh, I love those.
A child, when I was little, every probably like Tuesday, Monday before Thanksgiving, I would be at my grandmother's house, and she would have her whole dining room table covered with egg noodles drying for Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
Because we would have, probably over 20, maybe 30 people at her house growing up, just a big gathering, and she made all these noodles. Well, she rolled them all by hand and cut them all by hand. And so that is a tradition that I have carried on. So I make egg noodles usually Monday or Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And there's something just kind of therapeutic about rolling all of that dough, because you have to roll it really thin. And there have been times I'm like, I could probably get one of those little pasta machines and I could just put the dough through. But it just reminds me of like the legacy and the sacrifice that she made. Because I never remember hearing her complain about that growing up. I mean, it was just,
she didn't know to, did she?
It was her joy and gift, to all of us. And so it's just something that has really made me feel like I am serving and leaving a legacy, even if they don't see this part. This is a way that I am serving. And so I just love to do that. And
they'll remember it though.
And it does end up it's kind of a Midwest thing. So you do the egg noodles and then you boil them once they're dry for several days, then you boil them in chicken broth and we put them over mashed potatoes.
Really?
And it's funny, other people I've met from the Midwest, they're like, oh yes, we did that growing up. So it is somehow, growing up in the Midwest, it was just kind of the tradition that everybody, we all did that.
I've never heard that before.
I'll have to make them for you next time.
Oh, please do. I love egg noodles.
And over the mashed potatoes, so the sauce, the broth kind of thickens and it becomes almost like a gravy. The only other thing I do that's like totally from scratch is I do a pumpkin pie with a pecan pastry crust.
Oh,
it was back when we first got married and I got that magazine, like Cooking Light. And so it had that recipe in it. I'm like, I'm going to try and make a pie crust. And it's one that, 20 some years later, I'm still making it. It's having the pecan, like those crushed pecans in the crust with the pumpkin pie. It
sounds wonderful, but I can't imagine cooking anything light on Thanksgiving.
I know, right? Well, it's so funny. It's like you use egg whites, It's
but pecans.
The light part of it all. So, and then we cover it with whipped cream. So there's nothing really light about it. So those are kind of the two homemade things, like, totally from scratch things. And but then we do the turkey and mashed potatoes and a salad and things like that. So.
Oh, how fun. So do you have any special tradition or when you eat or anything?
Well, we usually eat kind of a late afternoon, like a 2, 3, because we're full of blanket pigs, We ate a lot of those. Yeah. And then in the evening, we watch the old Miracle on 34th Street because I just love how that kind of ties in the Thanksgiving and then into Christmas. And then I really try and wait until Friday morning to get the Christmas bins out. So
we usually
try to have self-control and not get them out Thursday night.
So true. Well, does everybody go for a walk after their big meal?
We usually end up doing family ultimate Frisbee at That is kind of a thing that we have done over the years, and the kids all love it. So
we all just go for a walk and say, I can't eat anymore. Can you? And we go home and we eat more.
Right.
How about you two girls?
There's usually some football going on at my house after.
All the boys.
Yeah, you got to be. Okay, so let me tell you about the world's easiest, delicious dessert. Ambrosia. Ambrosia does not need coconut. You get that disgusting foul stuff out of my ambrosia. It does not belong there. No. Open 2 cans of mandarin oranges, dump them in a colander. 2 cans of chunked pineapple, dump them in a colander. A jar of maraschino cherries, dump it in the colander. Rinse it off so it's not so soupy. Let it dry a little bit. Put it in a bowl, slop a little bit of sour cream, mini marshmallows, and you're good. It's delicious.
My mom used to do that, only she would also do peaches. Did you ever do peaches in yours?
No, I've never done peaches in there, but my kids might rebel because that's, like Mom, where's the ambrosia?
I know. That sounds like a great idea. It's so refreshing.
So easy. Yeah,
what a good idea, Jenny.
That's my homemade.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so, we all, our kids think that our food is the best. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, definitely.
We have ambrosia at my house too, but I do put evil coconut in it.
Ruins it. Ruin. Oh.
It's how our Magu made it. And Magu is Rob's mother, who, of course, we called Grandma until my little boy, the first boy, when he was a baby, somehow turned that into Magu. And so she has been Magu ever since. But Magu makes ambrosia. And the other tradition is that every year, even though I have now finally written the recipe down, I always send her a note or call her to say, how do you make ambrosia? Really, it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without that either. So Gretchen, I have the best. So we all know how hard it is. I'm like Sally. I like to do a lot of things in advance, and there's always a lot of people at our house. I know it'll probably be around 20. And so
8 kids and 8 kids, spouses and grandchildren and children.
And some of them are here and some of them are coming in from out of state. So it's going to be really fun. But the trickiest part is getting everything like ready and warm at the same time, right? Oh, It's the hardest. And so several years ago, I mean, it probably has been 10 or 15 years ago, I ran across a recipe for crock pot mashed potatoes.
Oh, me too.
Right?
Really?
Woohoo!
What do you do?
This is the most decadent recipe of mashed potatoes that you ever saw. And we'll share it. But I am just so in love with it. So you boil the potatoes and you mash them up. And then you add all these ingredients and this has ungodly amounts of butter. It has sour cream. It has cream cheese with chive and onion whipped into it, cheddar cheese, bacon crumbled.
Oh my gosh.
Sour cream. It is just so much yumminess.
You could just eat that for your main course.
No, you really could, and you probably should. Or because it's Thanksgiving, you can be extra and put Gretchen's homemade egg noodles over the top, and then you're just really done. So the fun thing, though, is that after you've whipped that all together, put it in the crock pot and put it in your fridge, on Wednesday, and then it just gets turned on first thing in the morning or whatever, so that it's hot at whatever time you want to eat it. So we do love that, mashed potatoes in the crock pot. And then the other thing that we do that I really love, especially now because it's been a long time, is that many years ago, I read the idea of having a thankful tree. And so when we first moved in here, this house had the funniest tree in the front. And I think it was called a corkscrew willow. And had these twirly branches that were fairly thin. And so it needed to come down because part of it was dying. So I cut off some of those branches. I put them into an old vase. And then for years before, I had been collecting these little leaves. So you could use like silk leaves and write on them with a fabric marker or like a metallic marker. But most of the time, I've just printed out some pretty printable, fall leaves. And I cut those out, punch them, with a hole punch. And I set one or two on every plate. And there's pens on the table. And so before we start eating on Thanksgiving, I'll have everyone write down what they're most thankful for that year and put their name and the date on the back. And to go through some of those now is so precious because they're years and years old. And, my little children writing down games and toys and Jesus and mommy and in their little handwriting.
Oh.
And we have the names that the other thing I love is place cards, because if you have more than, 3 or 4 people, everyone's like, where am I supposed to sit? Where do I go? And so whether it's just a note card folded in half or whatever, or cute, place cards, I like to put people's names on them. And so another favorite thing that I always pull out is our old place cards, because there are a couple of girls at my table who have their little last name initials crossed out and replaced with ours. And so I love finding those every year. Yeah. So those are some special things.
And those are fun things to do. We also did that because you can do it before Thanksgiving, like it builds up to it. We made turkeys out of pine cones. Have you all done that?
Yes.
Where you
love that.
Or a turkey out of your handprint. But
yeah,
such fun little things. Mm-hmm. Well, any more traditions that you all do? Clay reads Psalm 107. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His mercy endures forever. And then we do our little thing. But, I think if you can give your children and train them, and we do this through the 24 Family Ways too, but if you can train them to gratefulness, not to be a whiner, not to be an Eeyore. We all have dark times. We all have difficult times. I've been talking to some of my depressed children this week, but it's the but that helps. But the Lord endures forever. His mercy endures forever. We are grateful that we have so many blessings. And I do think that Thanksgiving and the habit of becoming thankful is one of the biggest gifts you can give to your children. Because when they leave your home, they're going to have their own difficult issues. They're going to have their own irrational people in their lives. And if you teach them to love people in their context, to forgive people, to be thankful for those people that they have. We didn't have any family around us in general. And so that was always we were always tempted to be a little bit lonely. But as we look back over the years, our family is so close because we were who each other had. And so I think being thankful and modeling that to your children and choosing not to be upset. I remember one of my kids dumped a whole bunch of one of the pieces of food that we'd worked so hard on right in the midst of getting ready to serve everybody Thanksgiving meal. And I thought, this is a choice. And I kissed this child, I hugged him, and I said, it was just a choice. It wasn't how I felt. But I said, I am so grateful for you. And now I would give anything to be with that child every moment, every day. So any last minute things that we're going to close this up right now. But I think that not just at Thanksgiving, but regularly, that's what we do on Family Day. We thank God for the fingerprints that he has shown in the providence of our life that year. You can read about it in the Life Giving Home and read about recipes in the Life Giving Table. But we do these things because we want in our children's brain pathways that they would be able to go to Thanksgiving because they practiced it over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. So any last minute Thanksgiving things like that?
And one other thing we've done that we haven't done in a while, but we used to do a lot is I printed out little photographs, just the heads of everyone in our family and, some of the fringe people that were there, and then laminated them and put them in a little dish, and everyone picks one blindly. And then you have this person and you say something that you appreciate specifically about that person. We used to do that at dinner somewhat regularly, but I think maybe I'll resurrect that for Thanksgiving. That's a good Thanksgiving thing. And, you get a different person every time. So it kind of mixes it up a little bit. And of course, they're always laughing because the pictures are from 100 years ago and no one looks like that anymore. And yeah, it'd be fun.
But that does train their hearts to go to the habit of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving isn't necessarily a feeling. It's a habit of, I want to worship God because he is good.
Mm-hmm. We also have a family Thanksgiving journal, and I forgot to mention that earlier, but it's like a little brown leather journal. And so every year we take a photo on the couch. And so I print that out and I put it in. And then, so I leave a space for the photo, but then everybody writes what they're thankful for. And it is so fun to go back over the years and see their little handwriting, or like a little scribble. And then we wrote in parentheses, like what they were saying,
really
what that really was. But it is another one of those things to look back over the years, and we pull out that journal every Thanksgiving. So,
Gretchen, I'm going to copy you because I love that so much. And I think one thing, you can hear things like this, whether it's about recipes or different traditions, and go to that guilt place, right? Of saying like, oh, I haven't done any of that. We don't have any traditions. We don't have that journal. Now my kids are all older. You all start this year. I mean, it is never too late to start a tradition, and even a new one. Never. Now it'll be my grandchildren who have the scrawly writing, mostly this year, but that'll still matter. 10 years from now, there'll be more of them prayerfully. And, and we can watch that same progression. We just didn't start as early, but I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Gretchen. And I think especially I don't know, because we've all come through such a hard time and are still in, our own hard times. I think that gratitude is especially important the last 2 years more than ever, 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 just to always be directing our minds to what we are grateful and thankful for, because it's a lot, even in the midst of crazy seasons.
Well, and we were talking yesterday, we have, at least our family right now has food and clothing and a warm home and each other. And that's a lot to be thankful for. Well, if you have enjoyed this, my friends, I want you to know that we plan on periodically having this set of girls doing fun things. We're about to record a podcast that you would love to hear, but it's going to be in our membership, Life with Sally, about our favorite Christmas books. So I hope that this has been fun for you. Let us know. We love hearing from you. And just know that we are thankful that we have the opportunity of ministering to women and to come along beside you, because we believe so much that what you're doing by serving your loved ones is really changing the whole trajectory of this country, this world, because your love invested in them and you're serving them is going to create in them a heart of virtue and a heart of courage and a heart of excellence. So why doesn't, Gretchen, why don't you pray for everyone right now?
Dear God, we thank you so much for the time that we can come together and just share the ways that you have built into our families over the year. God, we just thank you for your faithfulness. And we thank you for these sweet friends and the women and families who are listening, God. I pray that as we go into this Thanksgiving season, that we will just pour out a heart of thanks to you for your faithfulness, for your love, for the ability to have a relationship with you and to walk through all of life's difficulties and challenges, and know that you are there with us and that you sympathize with us and that you meet us with your compassion and grace and understanding. I pray that this holiday season will be a time of old traditions and new traditions and sweet family time, God. I pray that you would strengthen these mamas as they prepare and pour out and serve, God. And even if they don't feel like all that their work is appreciated, to know that you are thankful for them and that you appreciate all that they are doing and giving to their families, God. I pray that you would be their source of strength and identity and purpose, and that their sweet families would all feel your love flow through all these acts of service and kindness and love. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you, everyone, for being with us. And God bless all of you all this Thanksgiving. We have you on our hearts, and we're so grateful for you. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you've enjoyed our time together today and that you'll join me next week. Be sure to look for more inspiration on my blog at sallyclarkson.com. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.